Welcome to shit. Do you hear anything? I don't. Who moves these? Hold on, please. Hey.
Check.
Oh, I guess this is just real loud. All right. Well, I need that theme song again. That's
Check,
the whole
check.
point. Hold on. This is exciting stuff. Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
This person rates us, Keith and Chemda. This week's episode with Bianca and Andrea grilling Chemda over her relationship with Xerxes is fire. Please thank them for asking all the questions I would never dare to ask anyone.
They were rude, right?
And thank you, Chemda, for being so open about your sex life.
All right, they were cool.
Last week on Keith and the Girl is required. I can't live without it anymore. It's the 6th episode of the week in the Keith and the Girl universe, and sometimes the absolute juiciest. How about that?
We let loose.
Well, I want everyone to hear our premium content, so we're offering new VIP memberships at 50% off. Go to keithandthegirl.com/VIP, put in the code SPECIAL50, one word, 50, and get the discount. That's keithandthegirl.com/VIP. Use code SPECIAL50, the number 50, and you're golden. Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest, a Howard Stern show, a correspondent. Now, I listen to the Howard Stern show regularly.
For decades.
That's a big word, correspondent. I've heard, and his new album, it's a double album. One show done sober, the other show done completely drunk.
I love this idea.
And Stone.
Just in
Nice.
case.
Yeah.
Not a poser.
Not a poser. It's called Shulogy. Shuli Egar.
Thank you very much. Chemda,
Oh,
Keith,
say it again.
Chemda.
Yes.
That's how
Oppa.
that's how it worked. It's like how did it start with Chemda and Xerxes? He said her name.
Yeah, just say my name right. I'll start like leaning in to make out with you. I don't know how to stop
It's
myself.
the same thing Keith told me. It's an honor to be here with both of you. Thank you for having me.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being here.
I, of course, like I said, I hear Howard Stern regularly, and your job, if I'm not incorrect, is to wrangle the Wack pack.
Kind of be the conduit between that world and Howard, you know.
Okay.
So he doesn't have to get his hands dirty, and he doesn't have to, sit there and have 37-minute phone conversations with a lot of the people. And so I kind of trim the fat, and there's a lot of fat in that group, if you're familiar with it.
No
And
pun.
I feel like you speak. You're like a good liaison because your personality is in the middle of that. Like you're kind of wacky,
Yes, absolutely.
but you can straighten out to like pass the information.
Yeah.
You can code switch. In
I
a
have
sense.
I have a bank account and 401k and stuff like that, but I am a bit of a fucking nut too. That goes without saying. Listen, you have to be, Donnie Brasco had to be a bit of a bad guy to go undercover and mix in so well with all the other bad guys.
Oh, I love this comparison.
That's right.
Yes,
and yet both of us don't know.
Important work.
Both of us don't know who we are anymore, by the way, either. I'm going to knock the rest of my teeth out, and I'm going to join the Wack pack. So.
Now, I want to be clear that I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but do you ever feel like, what am I doing to talking to these mentally challenged people? Am I a
No,
bad person?
I don't.
I don't.
I'll tell you
And I
why.
want to be clear.
Yeah.
I think they'd have nothing else. I think this keeps
And
them living.
that's really, I've toured with Beetlejuice, right? Who's a legend from the show, legendary Wack packer. And Beetlejuice, when you're walking through an airport at 9 o'clock in the morning to go catch a flight to do a gig, and employees, people going to catch flights stop, come running over to him to take pictures with him, to put someone on. I had a guy 9:30 in the morning. Beetle, he comes running over. My brother's on the phone. He's a huge fan. Could you say hi? Beetle looks at him. He goes, go fuck yourself and your brother. And the guy pulls the phone back. He goes, did you hear that? And I'm like, how great is that? Now, take all that away. What kind of life does a guy like Beetlejuice have without all that?
Right.
And a lot of these people that I talk to, they don't have a steady friend in their life, somebody they can talk to, somebody they can share their thoughts with, and you got to invest. And I'm a guy who has always believed that it's not the person with the most toys who wins, it's the person with the most stories at the end
Sure.
of the day. So I'm always up for listening. I got patience. I was a camp counselor. I'm a dad. I toured with Beetlejuice. All those things you learn patience from.
Such a weird resume listing.
Yeah. Plumber. I forgot that one. And wheelchair pusher at the airport in
And
Vegas.
pothead.
Yeah.
I don't know if people
That's
know.
been my most consistent job.
Now, your parents who met in the Israeli military,
Yes.
do they understand what you do?
They didn't for many years.
Right. But they get it now, like that
yeah.
you get paid? Do they understand this?
Somewhat.
Shuli, you talk to people. You talk to us. We're not paying you.
I remember my dad a couple years ago goes to me, your brother says there is not a lot of money in the comedy business. And I go, well, Dad, my brother's an electrical contractor, so I don't know if your source is accurate
Right.
as far as payment breakdowns in comedy to go to a fucking electrical contract. Go, what does comedy pay these days? Do you know? You know, he's rewiring a house. No, he doesn't fucking know.
But I love it. Your brother probably said a million things on that phone call, but your dad held to that
Of
and then
course.
like reiterated it like he just read it from an encyclopedia.
I remember I was running 3 open mics in Vegas. I was a shit comic, right? I had nothing going on, and my mom and dad constantly going, "Have you contacted an agent yet? Do you have a manager?" And I'm like, no one's going to represent shit on a stick right now.
Right.
That's what I am. I got to learn how to do this.
Remind me how you got involved with Howard Stern in the first place. You would call in and...
Well, I mean, it started, in the 90s. I remember his Channel 9 show that he used to do, his sketch show that he used to do, came on the West Coast. We lived in L.A.,
Okay.
and I started watching the show, and I was, like, blown away by it. I thought, this thing's blowing Saturday Night Live out of the water, you know? And then his radio show came, like, a year later to L.A., and I started listening to that. And I was hooked immediately. And I had listened growing up in the 90s through his show for many years, probably about 10 years. And then I was living in Vegas years later, and I was dating a girl who used to get upset because you'd work late shifts in Vegas. I would get home 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:30. By 3 a.m., the show would come on live on the West Coast. So I was a big fan of the show. It's 2 hours away. I'm going to eat something. I'm going to smoke a joint. Probably play some Xbox, and then I'll put on the show for a little while. She used to hate that I didn't go to bed when she went to bed. Okay. We used to always argue about it. And after like years of doing this, we got in this big fight, and she goes, "I don't get you." She goes, "You listen to the show. Call in, do something. I don't understand why." And I'm like, "Whatever, go to bed," you know. And later that night, he announces that the show, based out of New York, is coming to Vegas for the first time ever to do shows from the Hard Rock Hotel.
Right.
And I had just heard a joke from a customer at the liquor store that I worked at, souvenir liquor store in downtown Vegas, right? And
souvenir liquor store.
Souvenir.
What does that pay?
It's all. Let me tell you something. The Israelis that own this fucking place,
Under the table.
If it what, you make over him. The employees there. You would love this. If it wasn't nailed down in this store, this fucking family would sell it to you, right? It was, well, you want the light bulb, $4.99, you know. The owner of this souvenir liquor store, real quick, addicted sports gambler, right? And I would open the store on Sunday mornings, and he would call me up, and he would give me his parlay bets for the sports book, right? And it's like 8:30 in the morning, and I'm like, yeah, what do you want? And he goes, okay, 200 on Buffalo Bills and the over. 300 49ers and the under. And he would just go down this list. So we get to the end, and I go, all right, that's $1,200. How do you want me to pay that? Go, take it from the register. What is wrong with you?
Do you notice that anytime we do Israeli impersonations, we're yelling?
There's no whisper in Israel. No.
We're just yelling. Keith.
Yeah. Don't tell anyone this. This is top secret. Keep it on the down low. There's none of that in Israel. So I call in, right, thinking I'm going to tell Howard this joke, and I'm going to proposition him. I'm going to say, if you laugh at this joke, I want to make a bet with you guys at the blackjack table. One bet. You don't have to fly me out. I live here. You don't have to put me up anywhere. I just show up, and it's crazy. I've never called in this show. It's such a dumb idea, right?
Are you nervous in that it would break your heart if Howard was in a certain mood and just went, what?
No,
Click.
I listened enough to the show that you take a swing, you either hit or you miss. Right?
I also love that the girlfriend that when she says I don't get you,
Right.
she doesn't get you. She doesn't
Right.
like you. It's
Right.
I mean, it's clear. She
Sure.
hates everything
We
about you.
both didn't like each other. We just
Sure.
didn't have the balls to pull the trigger and end the fucking thing.
Yeah, because there's no like I didn't actually hurt you or
Right,
whatever.
right.
But yeah, you hate each other, of course. But her main gripe is like, wait, is this how you're a fan?
Right.
Call it. You're such a lazy fan. Like,
Right.
you're not only lazy like in your life, in
Sure.
your social life, and whatever.
Sure.
She added like, and you're the worst
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
And that's what you held on to. You're like, no, I shouldn't get a better job. Like she said, the Xbox is probably okay.
Yeah.
I never sleep. That's
I'll
cool.
show her. Give me that
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah. Let me really up my game here.
But he doesn't say to her, you like Pretty Woman so much, you didn't even be a prostitute.
Right. Well, technically, that's how we met. But, well, so I dialed a number, and, like a movie, like a fairy tale, it rings. Someone picks up the screener. I go, I have a proposition for Howard. I live in Vegas. I want to tell him a joke. If he laughs, I want to make a bet with them. And the guy's like, all right, hold on. And it puts me on hold. And I'm like, now I'm in my apartment. My girlfriend, who hates me and the show, is asleep. It's around 4-something in the morning. My heart's beating through my chest because I've listened to this guy for years. I'm about to get on the air with him. And next thing you know, like within minutes, I get the plunk down on the phone, and he's like, Shuli from Vegas. He's like, what do you want? And I'm like, hey, man, like, I want to tell you this joke. And if you laugh, I want to make a bet at the blackjack table. And he goes, all right. He's like, let's hear the joke. And I'm like, okay. And I go, St. Peter's at the pearly gates. And he goes, oh, it's one of these. I hate these jokes. And I'm like, please, just let me tell it. I'm like, no, I'm so close, And
this
he's
will
like,
make my girlfriend believe I'm
yeah,
trying.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's like, all right, go ahead. And I go, St. Peter's at the pearly gates, and 3 black guys are at the gates. And he goes, Jackie, do you know this joke? And I'm like, Jackie, don't say anything. Like, please. So he goes, all right, go ahead. And I go, 3 black guys are at the gates. St. Peter goes, wait here. He goes to God. He goes, God, what do you want me to do? There's 3 darkies at the gates. And God goes, what the fuck's wrong? I go, what the hell's wrong with you? This is heaven. You don't speak. These are my children. You don't speak that way about them. You let them in immediately. He goes back to the black guys. And he comes back to God 30 seconds later and no black guys. God says, what happened? St. Peter says, they're gone. God says, who, the Schwarzes? He goes, no, the gates. And that was the joke.
It was a different time.
It was a different time. Hey, I don't open with it.
You just did.
Well, what do you want me to do? Ellen it up on this fucking thing or what?
He dances at the end
Yeah.
of the joke.
I said, knock, knock. He said, who's there? No. And he chuckled and said, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Okay, fair.
And I said, you laughed. And he said, well, technically. And he says, hold on. And puts me on hold. And the next voice I hear is Gary. And he's
The
like,
producer.
Yeah. And he's like, come on down. And the rest was history. I came down. I met everybody on the show. I got to make a bet at the blackjack table with him. We won the bet. And then I saw it as like a job that I was now going to call into this show and just contribute to a show that's gotten me through so many shitty jobs, so many shitty times. I was a fan, and I just wanted to play ball with these guys, and throw something out there that maybe they could discuss or lead into something.
Right.
And that was a fun thing for me. So
To make sure
that's
that
the way I approached it.
To make sure that they like you, do you buy racist joke books?
No, that was the only racist joke I ever told on there. That was it. You gotta get in the door somehow.
Sure.
And
And
by the way, thank you both for bailing on me on that. I really appreciate
no
it.
problem.
You guys are gonna be telling that shit tomorrow at the gym to friends.
Sure.
Like all of a sudden.
Anytime you want us to look away from you, just drop that N-bomb in Hebrew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how long have you been on the Howard Stern Show now?
14 years.
14 years.
Yeah,
All right.
13, 14 years.
And your wife now is into it, or it is what it is?
Yeah, I mean, my wife was never a super fan of the show. She listened occasionally. We met through her sister, who kind of matchmaked us.
Okay.
She was like, she's angry at guys, you're angry at women. You two would be great for each other. And she was right. She was right. The minute I met her, I was like, yeah, that's she's it.
Why?
First of all, she made me laugh, really hard. And other than like female comics, there hasn't been too many women in my life that have really made me laugh like that. And that's a big thing for me, man. Humor is huge for me.
What's your mom like? Is she funny?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that she knows it, but she's hilarious.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We never correct her on words she doesn't say properly for all these years she's been in the States. I don't like your friend. He seems so boorish. Why is he so boorish?
She means boring.
Yeah. Well, she goes, I've seen him before. He looks familiar to me.
My mother will put words together, and I'm like, oh, I can't correct that one. I tried anyway, but so she had like a shopping problem for a while. Everything was like, how much do you think I paid for this? I know, Mom, you paid a quarter, but this is like the 10th time you went shopping this week. Like, it's not good. And she goes, yes, I'm a shopper alcoholic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's
Yeah.
okay, all right,
A
fine.
drunk
I get
shopper.
it. Yeah.
That's fine. It's like Winona Ryder, right? Technically.
Because we're calling her a shopaholic.
Yeah.
And right after we say shopaholic, she's like, I know, shopper alcoholic.
The reason I don't go shopping for clothes in stores is because of my mother. It was the last time I ever went shopping for clothes. I refuse. She traumatized me, this woman, to a point where I'm terrified.
Why?
Back to
Because she's
school.
Skeeter Lomans and everyone's undressing in the same
J.C.
place.
Penney. J.C. Penney. I was 12 years old.
It's the best.
Back to school shopping. She grabs a family pack, a BVD nut hugger briefs, right? Holds it up in the air, in the aisle.
Like you're in a sitcom.
There's a salesman at the end of the aisle. She's not helping us.
Right.
She's just standing there. And my mom, full volume. This pack is open. Do we get a discount for this? Two of them are wet. And I'm like, online shopping can't come fast enough for me. My kids will never have to worry about that. I'm like, oh, it doesn't fit? We'll send it back to Amazon. That's fine. Don't you worry about it.
How old are your kids?
9 and 4, 2 girls.
Okay. Still
Yeah.
into it?
Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of locked in, dude.
Okay.
I got no choice at this point.
The other day, my girlfriend Kyle was saying, she has 3 kids, and she was saying, they better give me something good for Mother's Day. So I don't need the shit that you make at home. You're always making shit up. But
She's getting ahead of her disappointment.
well, here's what kids don't understand. It's mom's money.
Yeah,
You're 13.
yeah.
The more you spend on her, the more money you're going to get again.
Mm.
That's one way of looking at it.
It's weird math. Yeah.
It's a trick.
Yeah. Keith is the best non-stepdad in the world.
I'm pretty good.
Really, just date 2, he was telling her what to do with those kids. It's fascinating. 45 years old, not only never had a kid, never been around a kid.
Right.
He has talked about when he's ever around a baby, he feels like punting it. So
Yeah.
I don't...
Listen. Like I said, I was a camp counselor for a while, so I was kind of ready for this, but I had no clue of really what it entailed, and it's jarring, buddy. It's jarring when you realize that your life is no longer about you anymore.
Why is that a surprise? This is all I hear from
It still is.
Okay.
You
Tell
go
me
into
what.
it knowing what to expect. But the best advice I got out of anyone when we were about to have our first kid
Is don't do it.
was Jay Thomas, actor, radio guy I worked with for many years. May he rest in peace. Told me when we were about a week out from having the kid, he says, "I just want to tell you something, pal. You're not going to believe how much you love what's about to come out of there, and what you're willing to do for it." He says, "You probably thought about it. People probably told you." He says, "But trust me when I tell you, you have no idea."
I'm very happy that you got that feeling because I've looked in some parents' eyes and they were like, I was promised a feeling.
Right.
I
Do
think,
it again.
It doesn't kick in for everybody, it seems.
I think going into it the right way is a big step in the right direction too. I think if you're expecting listen, I'm not a big religious guy. I'm a big energy guy, right? That's my thing. So if you go into something with negative energy and negative outlooks, that's usually how it's going to come out. That's how most of my life was. Growing up with Israeli parents, there is no larger sea of negativity, and
Who let these people on TV?
Right,
She's
right.
so ugly.
Oh, I remember my dad when I go, "Dad, I'm gonna go full time to do stand up. I'm gonna give this a real try." and his exact quote was, "I've seen that movie before, and the hero dies in the end every time." That was my pat on the back.
Do with these kids, have you had a sex talk with them? Kyle was saying at the 16-year-old, obviously older than your kids, but the 16-year-old was told about porn and that the women aren't necessarily enjoying. At what age do you talk?
Well,
to
certainly
your
not
kids?
9, Keith. I can tell you that.
I don't know.
No, that I can tell you. You don't want to.
Well, at 9 you're getting close because at 10 some girls get their periods, and also I think the kids start talking about. Wait, there's babies coming from places. There's feelings coming from places.
I mean, I'm taking a baby step. Like, I just taught her how to write jokes not too long ago.
Okay.
Like,
How's she going to know how to write her abortion jokes?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She came at me with some knock shit. I'm like, no, we write in this house, bitch. Okay, get your shit together. And now literally every day she's writing jokes.
Wow.
She was one the other. She goes, "What did the bucket say when it landed the awesome backflip?" I go, "What?" She goes, "Pussy fart." I go, "What's wrong with you?" You're fucking 9, you asshole.
Do you heckle her just so she could be ready?
No, she's vicious. She's one of the best roasters I ever met. I did a video last week promoting a show I was doing in Virginia, and I like throwing her in my videos because she just fucking burns me, right? And I go, "Hey guys, come on out to the show. I'm doing a jam in Java." And she goes, "Are you doing a show where they sell coffee?" And I go, "Well, no, it's a place where..." She goes, "Are you performing at Burger King next?" And I'm just like,
wow.
The comic in me's like, "Sweet burn." The dad on video's like, "Motherfucker."
This pays for everything.
Yeah. So I like to let her shine, but
I'll say, go ahead, sorry.
no, I was just gonna say she changed the pussy fart joke to paled it. The
Oh,
awesome.
that's cute.
Yeah, but pussy fart's funny. So I told her
I'm
go back to
really
that.
glad that you cleared that up for us.
Yeah.
Like, I just want you to know she
Right?
workshopped it. We got to a different place with it.
I'm about closure, Chemda.
Oh.
I remember I was talking about my mom giving me the sex talk, she says, but we were so young that I don't remember it at all. However, I do remember wanting to have sex with my kindergarten teacher.
Like not even knowing what it is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There's
Yeah, 'cause-
something physical we need to do because we love each other.
Yeah, because I remember, and maybe the word's not horny, but I remember being horny as a kid, like wanting to something, no words to it. But then when I found out what sex was, I was like, oh, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
You're putting what and where?
And according to your album, you're thinking about quitting smoking weed. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I think about it a lot. Doesn't mean I'm doing it, Keith. What are
do
you, a
you
cop?
Think
Jesus
about it
Christ.
while you smoke.
Yeah, I go, what am I doing with my life? Man, this tastes good. No, listen, it's as far as vices go in
Sure.
this world.
Well, you don't have to defend yourself. I'm just
Well, but I
curious.
think everybody, to a certain extent, has a crutch in life.
Right.
The people who do it free and clean with nothing, no vices, serial killers. I think we can all agree on that.
Well, that's their vice.
That's right.
So,
So for me, it's like alcohol was never my thing. One of the reasons why I like weed over drinking is because no matter how high I get, I'm still in control, right? And I'm not physically fucked up. Like mentally, I'm cloudy,
Right.
but physically, the next day I'm not hurting. I'm not puking because I smoke too much, and I'm not as in control with alcohol, which is why I drank so much on the second album.
well, what do you get out of weed? I get a bunch of different things in different categories, but do you smoke for a reason? Do you smoke because you like it? Does it give you creativity?
It definitely helps with creativity. I've gone the route of writing without it and writing with it, and it helped me very early on stage because I was so nervous and I would go up there and I'd be so shaky that I would forget so much stuff, and it was just terrible. And one night, a buddy of mine was like, "You just need to get stoned and go up there and try it." And I went up there. It wasn't a ton better, but I felt more comfortable up there. And I took my time a little bit. I paced myself. I did 74 minutes. I went a little long, but I was like, okay, I want to play around with this a little bit and find a happy medium for this.
It's very strange to say that because I think when I first started smoking weed, just the idea that people smoke every day was daunting. Like,
Right.
oh, how do you sit up straight and like function throughout the
Right.
day? And weed changes and your brain changes on weed after a while, right? So I'm a pothead now.
Sure.
And when when I hear I'm creative on it, I get it, because what happens in my brain is, and I don't know how else to explain it, but it's all the stuff that's still there. But the weed takes your brain down so that you can like actually narrate some stuff.
Right.
And the flow of your brain, you can watch these unlockings open, so that in the place where you wouldn't be able to explain your thought or follow your thought or move through like creatively your thought, it opens that, and you get to the end of that feeling.
I'll give you a great example of that, right? I go to this barber shop by my house, Happy Haircutting Salon.
Oh.
Great name. And I go in, and I go in there, you know, once a month, maybe twice a month, whatever. But I always get a straight razor shave, right? Love a straight razor shave. I went in there, you know, like a month ago, really high. Took a big joint with me to walk down, and I got wasted. And I'm sitting there in the chair, and the guy is, the straight razor's on the back of my neck, and he's shaving the back of my neck hair. And you ever get the straight razor shave? How good does that feel when the razor?
Heaven.
It's, and I'm high as a kite, and that's when the thought pops into my head. You know, I'm not gay, but if you gently put the head of a dick in my mouth at this point, as long as you keep the razor going, I'm fine with it. I'll go with it, and everything's fine. That doesn't happen unless you're high. That's my point.
You know what, guys?
Yeah.
I want cock.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? You could kidnap my kids in front of me while this razor's on the back of my neck, and I'd be like, she likes spaghetti, but not meatballs. It's weird. Take care.
And that's why we should legalize it. Thank you.
Thank you. It opens doors to kidnapping.
Your double album, of course, one hour is sober, the other you're all fucked up. Were you more nervous during the sober part?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it the first time you've ever performed sober?
No, I've performed sober, and it's gone well. It's not bad. It's just I like. So what's cool about the album is I just wanted it to be debatable. I didn't want it to be clear cut. The sober set was polished, and this wasted set, he was a fucking mess.
Right.
I wanted both to be well. I wanted people to be able to go back and listen to this joke and the sober set, and then listen to the joke and the wasted set, and see which version of it they liked.
Did you consider not labeling them so people can?
Yes.
Okay.
That was an idea, and then I considered mislabeling them, putting the wasted one as the sober one.
You don't fucking think we could tell? Track 10, you're
I
high as a kite.
Sued for,
and you can buy the albums separately. Is one selling more than the other?
Yeah, so it turns out the wasted one is outselling the sober one like 2 to 1. And which is great, because leading up to this, I'm telling my wife, I'm like, yeah, this is my goodbye to the lifestyle. It's Shulogy, eulogy. We're saying the cover, it's got my weed in it, it's got all my shit in it, my Xbox. It's all going bye-bye. And then the wasted album's outselling it 2 to 1. I'm like, the people spoken. This is what they want. You're going to deny the people what they want? That's you?
Chemda, say again about the unlocking of the brain. Something's going on there.
Blah, 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 straight razor, honey.
I'm not gay. Put a dick in my mouth.
Do you keep in touch with your parents with all the news? Not that it's new news, but the rockets.
Oh, yeah. I remember my mom was in Israel years ago. This is back when we used to do this radio show called Miserable Man on Sirius. And we decided to call her during the show. And and you could hear the siren, the air raid sirens going off. And I'm like, Mom, do you have to go to the shelter? She goes, what shelter? We are playing Gin Rami. We have the helmets on. If something happens, it happens. What do we care? You know, she's fucking the toughest woman. She once threw a pencil at my guidance counselor in high school and almost took out her fucking eye.
Why?
Because she was talking shit about me, and my mom found out. And my mom came to the school, and she was, where is Mrs. Turner? Mrs. Turner? And Miss Turner came out, can I help you? I am Noga Egar. Stop talking about my son! Boom! And chucked this fucking pencil at her, and like literally grazed her cheek like a warning shot. And I think it was the next day, I had a different guidance counselor. They switched the whole alphabet around so I could get a different counselor.
Hey, counselor should have been wearing the helmet and playing gin rummy.
Yeah, my counselor would say, your son's an idiot. And my dad would go, probably.
Yeah.
You went to school for it.
You make joke on me, huh?
I've been, of course, emailing my dad. Well, my dad emailed behind my back my ex-wife of 2 years and said, hey, whatever happened in that relationship? And my ex-wife, we still talk, and she sends me a letter. I go, what the fuck? This is your face is the right face. And so
That's
now,
some fucking Jerry Maury combo shit right there, bro. Damn, what am I talking about? Let's get into this shit. The fuck? Who gives a shit?
so now I started a new account, and I'm pretending I'm my ex-wife, and I'm talking to my dad.
Man, you don't ever have kids because you will never have time to do shit like this, and you are a fucking devious motherfucker.
It's like I'm telling you about a three-way.
This is awesome.
I know you got your family, bro, but
This
listen what
is-
I'm up to.
I mean, I've never been more jealous of anything in my life. Man.
Little P on the forum says Keith's dad was so beyond over the line in contacting his ex behind his back. It isn't a generational thing. It's a narcissistic asshole thing. I work with older adults. 99% of them would be appalled at this. This is beyond boundaries. So I'm 1,000,000,000% behind Keith in pretending to be his ex. His dad will never learn, and at least Keith gets some information out of him. I don't think it is coming from a dad place. It seems like he was bored, and this is a great point, I think. He was bored and needed to stir up drama and try to be the hero with his bullshit knowledge, right? And his comment about 86 being a sexual thing was so fucking gross. The email address I picked was catlpersonal86, and in one email he's like, "Would you care to explain 86?"
Wow.
And fake Catherine says, "Huh?" Well, I have come across information that it is the new 69.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like,
But
"All
he's
right."
like accusing her of putting that number in to be salacious in her email.
Yeah.
Are you and your ex-wife on good terms?
Yeah.
See, this is what I would have done. I would have got together with her, and I would have had her write him back. His dick was too big. I couldn't deal with it.
Close.
the
You're
thing-
close.
Yeah. Well, then
thing
did
is-
she write him back then?
He doesn't have to confer with her. She
Right.
gave him permission to just write whatever. So he's been writing back and forth, and we have like now 2 entire episodes just running through these emails.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, everything he's ever wanted to know about himself. Like, what did you think when Keith said?
Right.
And
You know
he's
what
just-
you should do? You should tell him you're in Nigeria and you need his bank account to unlock a couple grand.
Let's see.
You can hear everything in the show, not your father's sexual position. Kyle's on that one. Enunciated Piffle says, when it was first announced that you were doing this, I thought, how great would it be to drag this out for a full year? Then end it with a big reveal. You call up Dad during the KATG Awards, congratulate him. Not Catherine has been voted best new guest.
Oh,
I've always felt like Keith's dad was envious of Keith and his comedy. Maybe playing it off live on the show would force him to take it all as an all-inclusive joke.
okay.
One
yeah.
that he was in on.
This is the kind of hilarity. I mean, he was right up until now, but I love how people are like, and then when this happens, your father will turn into a whole different person and have a whole different response.
Like a sitcom. It's going
Yeah.
to end just in time and everything's wrapped
Right.
up nicely.
Yeah, and then maybe you'll have pushed through to some other place, and he gets you now.
I think you do build it for the year, but I think you end it with Chris Hansen from Dateline walking in.
Right.
Is this your screen name? One of my favorites was the guy's like, that wasn't me. I wasn't talking to that girl. That was my friends messing around. He goes, for 7 days, your friends were messing around on your computer?
My cat jumped on the keyboard. After the episode with Kyle, however, I'm not so sure. I think there's only 2 reasons to keep the emails going. 1, you want to gather info. 2, he's a dick and you're trying to be vindictive because he's got it coming. Clearly, he's so old and crazy that you'll never get any real info. This just leaves being vindictive. Get out, Keith. Shut it down. You're not that guy. Now,
First of all, can I address? I know the "you're not that guy" is one of the biggest things, but when now I'm forgetting what it was.
well,
God damn it!
Yalla Chemda, wake up over there, huh?
Goodness. Oh my goodness!
What can I ask about the whole 69 thing?
sure.
And if I'm out of line, I don't care. But
Oh, yeah, this is where the
no,
line
okay.
is.
No, okay. Do you think he's like flirting with her, or do you think he's just pervy and that's just how he is?
A little of both.
Because my dad's pervy too.
Right.
You know, I remember.
Well, one of the emails started from my real dad to
Yeah.
fake Catherine. You're extremely beautiful. Then it goes into
it's-
maybe Keith was hurt when you would go on business trips with young men.
So subconsciously, he's thinking, "Oh, if she'll bang my kid, she'll probably bang me,
Right.
right?"
I'm some of
Actually,
that.
I was thinking that you start leaning that way.
Maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking that you start
Oh,
saying,
it's got to go in a sexual direction, but she's got to be weird, like she's into piss and like all kinds of weird shit. You got to really fucking take it up a notch.
What?
I want you to punch me in the stomach while you fucking empty a bucket of piss on my head. Something out there. You know what I mean?
But you know,
Teach him a lesson. Call his fucking bluff.
it is funny you're saying when somebody says, Keith, you're not that guy. We started Keith and the Girl in March of 2005. It's been over 14 years. It's starting to look like I'm that guy.
I can't believe somebody would
All
describe you.
signs point to yes.
Well, you're
Looks like I
not
am.
that kind of guy. That's crazy.
And then,
Not that guy doesn't set up the fake email account. Right. I got news for you.
and then he said, okay, I got to be honest as well. Part of me is dying for the next email.
Oh,
Yeah.
So there you go.
that's
Come on.
fantastic.
Sparrow says, here's an email idea. Fake Catherine needs more instructions on how to break up a happy home. Fake Catherine's trying to break up me
Right.
and Kyle and get back with me because I'm so great. What should she wear to get Keith back? What does she say? Can Father Malley, he was a priest, help her write a letter to Keith? Would he mind even putting in a good word for her the next time he calls Keith?
See, I like that until part of me really wants to draw out his weird sexual stuff because
Yeah.
he always throws the sexual stuff on your girlfriends,
Yes.
and it's like you can't call yourself Father Malley and go, "Is the wedding?"
You're so pretty.
See what he's
Yes.
willing to go through, you know?
Yeah.
She's like,
I-
I really enjoy giving guys paper cuts on their dicks. And you're like, would you be up for that? You
Boy,
know?
you come up with these real fast.
I mean, it's a category in Pornhub, whatever.
He's married, but he's not neutered.
Not dead. And
She says, say, Father Malley, how do I stroke the flames of men?
Ugh. I was thinking that she goes, you know what? You know, I think that I've always been called an old soul. Like I feel like I have a very specific maturity. I want to go for a really older guy.
Right.
And in fact, like I've been having such a nice time talking to you. I really am starting to consider someone your age. Could you help me
How
to
old is he?
navigate that? 102.
68, I
It's-
believe.
68?
He's been 68 since I met you.
I'm not going to acknowledge it when he's 69.
She should tell him I'm really into older guys, but 7 more years. You're not at the age that really gets me wet.
Here's one. This I like. And
Well,
this,
the funniest part is that 86 was the year she was born, Father Malley.
right.
But you keep saying, is he
He was a priest.
I gotta go. This is. I mean, how is this not a TV show? What the fuck? How is this not a sitcom? This is. Put it on Playboy Channel. I'm watching.
He has a church in his basement.
Oh, one of those.
Yes.
I got you. All right.
Yeah, but Keith has had sex in that church every time he visits.
Well, it's, the church is open 24/7. You can...
I mean,
Sanctuary.
Your girlfriend keeps saying, "Oh God," so might as well
Right.
go into
Right.
the right room.
There you go.
Afraid Not says, maybe Not Cat should develop a guilty conscience and tell Dad she was forwarding everything to Keith in order to repent.
No.
Yes.
No.
I think it's too soon. I think you gotta have
Yeah.
fun with this a little
All
bit.
right.
Let
Yeah, it's over if you do that.
Yeah.
Okay, but when it is over, that's how I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Because I do want to hear him go, one should keep a secret if...
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to see that sweat.
See, this I fully understand doing this, although I wouldn't have the balls, but that you at the end of this are so adamant about the fact that you're going to tell him what happened.
Yeah. That's the point.
That's the point.
Why not take the high road and
Okay.
just anonymously post the dick pics that he's gonna eventually send to your fake
Oh,
ex-wife?
that would be amazing. You think he has snake eyes tattooed on his
Go,
dick?
Dad, that group anonymous just posted pictures of your dick. Did your dick vote for Trump, Dad?
Oh, actually, that would be good if, like, after a year of this, she suddenly starts picking fights with your father, and then it goes to like, this whole thing was bad, and that's why she threatens to tell you. And
How about she threatens to kill herself? How about that? Yeah.
Oh,
Give me Give me 10 grand, or I'm googling how to make a noose, and it's over.
I thought she would be killing herself with paper cuts with with
Yeah.
your imagination.
Yeah, I'm putting a bike pup in my vagina. You have till the count of 20, or I'm a goner.
Literally, count of 20.
I've said this before, but I know my dad thinks I'm the same kid that a 1-year-old, shat their pants.
And this is going to prove to him that you're an adult.
Yeah, very vindictive, sick adult.
Would you ever
But
see your...
he's so vindictive.
Yeah.
Like he made, okay.
As
I-
my dad would say, the apple doesn't fall far from
Yeah.
the tree, huh?
But he's his dad has he wrote a whole book about his childhood and so
I
fucking
thought
nuts.
his ex-wife. I was
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
Shit my pants.
But his father would make up that they did something wrong in order to punish them, and then one of the punishments was digging a hole in the backyard
Okay.
that is 3 by 3 by 3, right?
A circle, but yeah, 3 feet across
Okay, and you don't get to have measuring tape or anything,
and 3 feet deep.
but he gets to come out and measure it to see if you did right at the
Oh
end
my
of it.
God.
And of course, you didn't do right, so you had to do it again.
Yeah.
You totally have to get every penny from his bank account before this email bit is done. Please. What a fucking asshole. I mean, with all due respect. I know he's your father, but what a piece of shit. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh. I thought the worst was my dad stepping on my foot and then shoving me with his other hand so I couldn't fall. I go, where are you going? Where are you going? I thought he was an asshole for that. Now forget it.
Okay, wait. There's one more, and I know we've said it on the show before, but you have to tell Shuli. The one where he says good morning. Even mornings, right away.
You'd wake up and you had to say "Good morning, Father" to my dad immediately. We were the Von Trapps, and he would deliberately try to beat you so that he can be mad at you. And
Oh my God.
good morning, son. And I go, oh, good morning. He's like, well, maybe it'd be nice if you said it to me first. Try again. And I'd have to go back in my room, come out. He would then not face me. I go, good morning, Father. And he acts surprised, like, oh.
Can I smoke weed in here? Because I'm going to go flip over a table. I am so mad right now. Wow. What a fucking weirdo. What a fucking weirdo. I thought my dad was weird when I would pretend to be asleep. I'd be up late and I'd be watching Carson and I'd hear him coming down the hallway and I'd shut my TV volume all the way off and I would just lay there with my eyes just cracked up, pretending like I fell asleep watching Johnny Carson. And my dad would stand by my head. All I would see is his upper torso and his belly. And he would stand there for about 10 seconds, not saying a word. And then he would tell me in Hebrew, he'd go, "Ta lo yachol lafchid zona im zayin." Translated to English means, you can't scare a hooker with a dick. And I would immediately start laughing. And that's how he would bust me every time. And his good morning, he would annoy the shit out of me. He'd go, every morning I'd get everything, go, good morning, America.
Oh my God, my parents said that too.
First it was 9 of these. Shuli, 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 Shuli. I'm up! Usually he would just go get my mom, and my mom would come. She'd go, shoot it! And I'd be like, yeah, I'm here.
My dad woke us up in a real creepy way. He wanted to do it very gently. So he'd just touch your skin with like the lightest.
Oh my God, dude.
Like
How have you not set him on fire yet? He's an evil entity, that guy.
And it got to the point where, there was.
How did you make it out?
I don't
So
know.
normal.
Barely made it. It's not that normal.
I mean, from what I see, just upright, functioning. Guy's giving you creepy touches. The fuck?
It got
dude?
to the point where we knew he was coming in the room. We just jumped ourselves up awake.
All his kids are wearing turtlenecks. Like, no, I know it's 90. Whatever. I'm comfortable in it. A fucking weirdo.
My dad's like, oh, why don't
Yeah.
you have your own kids? And I'm like, because I had you.
Yeah.
You might be in this blood somewhere.
Dude, get dick pics, money, have her kill himself, give him guilt. Whatever you fucking nail this guy with, hit him hard. He's earned it.
Come on, Dick. Now I need you to tell more stories too. I love this. Okay, how
Please,
about
this is blowing my mind.
how about the school stuff?
Oh, he'd come into my school to spy on me. So it's just, I'm in math class, let's say, and then another student has to go, Keith, your dad's
Oh my
head is in that
God.
little window.
Oh
And my
my
dad's just
God.
looking like, well, what am I doing? And all the kids knew my dad because he visited so often.
I mean, that one doesn't upset just because my dad wouldn't come to anything at my school
No,
unless
no,
I
no.
told him something was free.
Let me-
So I'm just glad he showed up. Part of me, but just your friends having to tell you your dad is just in a bush outside the window. Like, what the fuck? And what are you supposed to do with that? Like, wave at him? Like, hey, Dad,
I'm still here.
just doing algebra.
Still going good. Thumbs up in the window.
Yeah, half day, Dad? Not a lot going on, I see.
But that's not so anyone would be like, "Oh, your dad is protective of you. You know, he's just checking in. He's got the time. That's nice."
This was his junior year of college.
Let me tell you why it's fucking weird,
What?
okay? Never mind that it's high school
Right.
and Keith should be driving himself to school at this point, but cannot.
Right.
Anyway, when he doesn't need to show up, he comes to the school. When Keith stays after school and needs to be picked up by a parent,
Yeah.
he's there for hours.
Right.
Just standing around.
Well,
waiting to
apparently
be
you
picked
weren't
up.
the one he wanted to see. Apparently he wanted to be seen by somebody in your class.
Oh, he's
Right?
checking out the chicks.
Maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, who's that fucking idiot in my way? Oh, it's my son. Watch out. Trying to get a look at some coos, son.
I was in marching band, and I remember the
All right, now it's getting hot.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm chubbing up.
Yeah. Not only is everyone saying my name correctly today.
That's great.
and
What did you play, by the way?
a trumpet.
I'm with you, bro. Hey, embouchure brothers.
Thank
huh?
you,
That's
that's
what it's
right.
all about.
Did you play a trumpet though?
Yeah.
You really knew how to play?
Oh, it was good. Yeah.
Don't tell me stolen valor, stolen
I was
trumpet
good. Oh,
valor.
I was
Oh,
good.
all right.
I didn't fuck around with that fourth key. No,
Did
I'm
you
a
read
3.
music?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I just went 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. I just put the valve numbers. I was
yeah.
just like, there was an Asian kid next to me. I go, "What do you got, Lee?" You know, and then I just write it down, and then
That's how I'm learning guitar right now
Yeah.
with an app called Musician. It's crazy, amazing, good. Like
Yeah?
you feel like you can start playing as soon as
I
you
want
use
to
it.
play guitar so
Yeah.
bad.
Oh my God. Musician, I'm not kidding. 15 minutes a day. I am now like going through keys and I can't believe it. But they do their notes like that. They write 2 and it's color coordinated and everything.
Well, once
But I could read music like that.
I got 2 kids, so once I get a shitter big enough to fit a guitar in, I'll start doing that 15 minutes a day because there's no time around then.
So I'm sitting there stuck at school, and the band teacher would say, "Okay, I'll wait for your parents with you." And I'm like, and I'm humiliated. I'm like, "No, you don't have to. It's fine." He says, "Well, actually, it's the law. I have to." 5 minutes goes by, and he goes, "So you're good, right?"
Oh, I think I see your dad's head poking out of a trash can. There he is. Is that your dad dressed as a wheelbarrow?
Okay. Last one.
Okay.
The cigarette one.
Oh man, I don't know which.
Show me on the doll.
I
where
don't know
he
which
put
is
it out.
worse. He was telling me that with your imagination, there's so many things you can do, and you don't have to pick up vices. For example, smoking.
Okay.
He would, on his way home from school, he would act like he was smoking, but he didn't have anything between his fingers. And he would pretend to light it.
Right.
He would get high from it, whatever that means. And he would know to put the cigarette out because he felt, quote, a burning sensation on his fingers. Why would you tell your kids that?
Listen,
Like your mental case. I didn't read your diary. You told me that.
how many kids did
5.
5?
Yeah.
The guy who's smoking fake cigarettes
Well,
convinced your mom.
Well, they're Catholic.
Oh my God. This is why we got to get rid of all religion.
Yeah.
You understand? There's no way this guy could have convinced a woman to let her come in her once, much less 5 times, other than God being involved somehow.
well, the fake cigarettes never slow down his real sperm.
Right. What a fucking weirdo. If anything, like the only way you make that cool is if like a dove pops out at the end, like if your dad's a magician, but
He kind of
oh my God. You met your friend that just told you your dad's spying on you is like, is that his dad smoking an imaginary cigarette? What the fuck?
He goes. He asks for permission. He goes, "Is this okay? Do you mind if I?"
Oh no!
Yeah, I guess you could.
Ah,
Then he flicks the
What
not
did he ask?
cigarette into into your clothes, and you're like, "I think I'm upset." It feels rude.
oh my God! Listen, I want you to go see my imaginary doctor and get checked out for imaginary secondhand smoke. Okay?
I wish you had this on hand because the rules of the house, if
Oh,
you
yeah.
read that, things like don't laugh at the table. If you're going to laugh, go outside. If you're laughing outside, stop it.
Sign the Gestapo.
It's so funny. It's so
And
terrible.
Frank had more freedom in her house than you did.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, no joke. He was a magician,
Yeah,
and
oh.
he said the
He's
reason,
magical, all right. Tell you that.
he said the reason he quit is because he was being perceived as a god.
Okay.
He's a god in my book. I've never heard of stats like this on anybody. It's amazing. Is the rest of you like the other four just batshit crazy, or did you guys all turn out all right?
Considering we turned out all right.
Fuck, I'm still stuck on the creepy touch too.
Right.
That bugs the shit out of me.
I think it's because we had each other, and
yeah,
we all knew the same stories. We knew we weren't making up these stories, and we could all laugh at.
It's like having a weird manager, when you're waiting tables, and then like four of you get together, and go, can you believe this fucking guy? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Great American Novel right now. Hands above the table is a rule. Elbows off the table. Don't laugh at the table. No laughing in the car. Don't put your feet on the ottoman. Keep the TV volume under 35. After 6 p.m. under 15. Don't sing. Don't whistle. If loud inside, go outside. If loud outside, shut up. If you might make a burping sound, go outside just in case. Don't mock the cat in its presence.
This is why the porn industry exists, by the way, because kids grow up with rules like that, and they go, I'm fucking out of here. I'd rather have 3 dicks in my ass at one time for $54 and a bus ticket than not be able to clap or put my elbow on a table. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here?
I know my brother liked to mush the ice cream, make it soft before he eats it. And my dad's like, don't do that. I'm like, well, he's not going to do it in a business meeting.
Was he ruining it?
Who cares?
An asshole.
Leave the toilet seat up. Separate 2-ply toilet paper. Don't leave videos in the VCR. Don't watch R-rated movies. Don't watch PG-13 rated movies. Don't watch PG-rated movies. Don't act like a homosexual. Don't use the word gay.
That one I agree with, by the way. Can you underline that one?
Don't appropriate. Don't use the word gay to mean homosexual.
Happy.
Don't walk around as if
I'm really fucking gay right now, Dad. Just want to let you know.
I had a friend, Marcus. His last name was Queer. Marcus Queer.
Sure, that guy had a decent, easygoing life,
right?
Huh?
He wouldn't let me say my friend's name. I go, well, that's his name. He's like, not the way you're saying it.
Dad, is it cool if my friend Marcus Poonhound comes over?
But what's fucked up is when we found out that your brother's gay.
My brother Mark.
Yeah, so
I just outed him.
That's what those soft touches will do to you, kids.
So your parents didn't know yet, and we were with them, and they're following us car after car, and we wrote on like sort of a piece of cardboard, Marcus Queer, but just the name, and we put it back there. We thought it was so funny.
Veer off the road. Oncoming 18-wheeler.
So his parents could just see like Marcus Queer. But what are we? They were such idiots.
As if you would just say John Walker and put a sign up.
Right. Meanwhile, Mark is like, he knows he's about to come out to his Catholic parents, and we're like,
I mean, this is like when this whole thing started, I'm like, what the fuck's up with Keith doing a fake email address? I'm like, this is kind of fucking weird. And now I'm like, do 17 more. Have your ex-wife's cousins, aunts, they all want a piece of him.
I remember when I saw him do a magic trick for the first time in person, I'm like, oh no.
Oh, well,
it was the saddest thing. It was just sad.
Was it newspaper, milk in the newspaper, and it just all spilled everywhere? Was it an imaginary newspaper, an imaginary milk? He's like, look at that.
Nothing's even there.
Not a drop. Ta-da! What would you say, and this, I don't know if you have an answer for this, but I'm dying to know, because there's so many things. What would you say that you chalk up as like the most embarrassing moment or thing that you witnessed your dad do? I don't know if it was around friends of yours, just something that just like, oh my God.
I think the school thing embarrassed me a lot.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because you're including other people now.
Yeah.
As an adult, do you think it's him calling your girlfriends pretty oddly? Or is that like you're already over it?
I'm over it. Yeah, I warned the girlfriend, like, it'll be flattering the first time, perhaps. Odd, but flattering. The 6th time that you're pretty,
Randomly, too. Like, oh, we're at Applebee's. Do you know you're pretty?
Right.
My dad's a perv, and he's old school, He'll, like, my wife went out there for, like, 6 weeks last summer to help her and my dad, and like, drove him around. As she's driving around, helping them live life, he's like, women drivers today are terrible. He's so old school. And but he's always been, like, kind of pervy, I think, in a kind of cute kind of way. Like, we'd be driving, and he'd see a woman jogging. He'd go, I like what I see. And what I don't see, I like even more.
Aww.
Yeah.
Every birthday, he tells me, we really enjoyed making you.
Oh, yeah, that's creepy. That's past pervy.
Yeah.
That's creep town.
My mom's behind him shaking her head. No.
Yeah.
We did not enjoy that.
Yeah.
My dad was kind of a womanizer, and his speech in public was always very flirty with other women. And my mother didn't seem to be bothered, and I wasn't bothered. It seemed to be just how men talk to women. But
Locker room talk, huh?
yeah, but I now I realize he was basically telling women to smile. Like, our waitress always has to be hit on, and I just thought, like, this is my dad being charming or whatever. He's not really doing that bad. But now thinking about it, he's always like, sweetheart, oh, you're beautiful. And, I hope my daughter is like you. And then the thing that kind of grossed me out the most is as soon as they would walk away, he'd be like, "Ugh, she's gross." And I'm like, "Oh, well, nobody asked you to do any of that stuff."
Yeah.
And that fucking confused me because I'm like, so that's what guys are doing. They're volunteering to flatter me, and then as soon as I walk away, they're shitting on me. But I just existed.
Right.
So that really didn't make me feel good. I was like, why did
Wait
you
till
even...
Keith and I do it at the end of the show. You're going to really feel bad.
That's what the YouTube comments are like now.
Oh, please. Don't even waste your time reading it.
Of course, you can get the Great American Novel at keithandthegirl.com/store. Also, be sure that you're checking out our other podcast, My Opening Line. We talk to comedians about their first times performing, what a disaster it was, of course,
And how their career developed since then.
and why they kept going. Rick Godfried is there, Bonnie McFarlane. You'll see it all. MyOpeningLine.com. All right. Shuli, this was awesome. It's
Thank you
good
so
to
much
meet
for
you.
having me. That was a blast, man.
So much fun.
I haven't laughed that hard since work earlier today. Thank you very much.
Not a bad life, right?
I do feel like we should have you on and we should just have people tell you about their childhoods.
I mean,
it's
I
so
don't know how
good.
you're going to top Super Dad over here, Super Dad Osborne. I don't know how you're going to top that shit.
It is hard.
On Instagram, Twitter, and the website, you can go to Shalom Shuli.
Yes.
All right.
Shalom Shuli, the album Shulogy. You pick it up. Shuli.
The album's great. You should be very proud of it.
Thank you, man. I enjoyed making it a little too much, but I'm very proud of it, and I hope you guys dig it. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Have you thought of, by the way, changing your name? Both my brothers changed their names just to have an ease of life. So
I
people don't
did
go-
for many years.
Yeah.
I used to go by Sean for many years.
And now when you hear Sean, like, it's still kind of your name or what?
Yeah, I still have friends that still
Yeah.
call me Sean. Like, they still know me as Sean. But it took me a while to realize the gift that is my name.
That's funny because my younger brother's name was Sharon.
Yeah.
And because I always said it with a Hebrew accent because I
Right.
was raised in it, everyone always thought it was Sean.
Right.
And then my older brother's original name was Shuki.
Yeah.
So you're like both my brothers in one. And you say my name right.
Toda chemda.
Look at this. Hey, by the way, speaking of the Wack Pack, can I get a little Tanma?
No, but thank you for asking, Keith. You guys have a good one, all right? Ow.